road again. On the road again. Alright. Got my new shirts. I got 2 of them. Now it's the return trip home. How is it that every time I come to this or come here, I get that perfect exit? Feels super sketch at that intersection, how it is. Hey Phil, glad you can watch this one. Yep, I got exactly what I needed. Like I said, it was something quick and easy. I knew exactly what I needed, so it was just an in and out run. Sleeve polo shirts, and that's all I need. Eventually I will have my own work uniform, but for the time being, until my new shirts come in for work, I've just been wearing nice dark color polo shirts just to kind of match what I'm supposed to wear. At least it's better than my previous job where I was working. That idiot turning left isn't using turn left. Where at my previous job I was doing security work, wearing normal clothes, no uniform whatsoever, and I didn't have an official security ID badge. They just ported access over from my old ID card. So I'm just this guy walking around saying he was security that didn't look the part at all. That was fun. I kind of wish I got to keep one of my shirts when I when I left there, but oh well. It's the least they could do since, you know, they laid me off, but yeah, whatever. How many yield signs do you need at one intersection? We got 1, 2, 3 facing traffic here. And then you got the idiot that's crossing the road where it clearly has a sign that says do not cross here. And they use these crosswalks that are scattered throughout. Taking the highway again. Let's move this way. Hop on 695 up here. Yeah. The worst part is they just redid that. Oh, there we go. Lost signal again. Absolutely no reason. When Mama MD was the traffic supervisor out at Towson Precinct here, they used to have at least one crash a shift at that intersection. I don't know if it's still like that or not, but yeah, that traffic circle is atrocious. And it kind of has to exist, because if it didn't, that would be one hell of a great intersection. Because that's a 5 roads intersect there. Oh, hey, hey, Dakota. What's happening? Working the midnight shift, I see tonight. I just had to run out and grab some new shirts for my job. The one I bought back on literally the 1st of this year. The one sleeve completely and utterly just like disintegrated, and I don't know if it was my fault or the shirt. And when I called them asking them about their return policy earlier, essentially, from the sounds of it, I wouldn't have been able to get the refund. Or not refund, but exchange. Come on, dude, even though you just blatantly ignored the yield sign, whatever. That'll be nice. Technically, it's a merge. I don't even know why there's a yield sign there. It really shouldn't be there. That should be an alternate merge. But it is what it is. I'm not MDOT, so it's above my pay grade. But I'm just excited. Oof. So I did 6 months of Midnights, and I both loved it and hated it. In the bed that looks like it's about to fly out. But yeah, it was one of those things that I loved it and hated it at the same time. I loved it because essentially the midnight shift at my job, there was no supervisors, and essentially there was nothing for us to do. Essentially there was only like about on the average night 2.5 hours that you actually worked, and the rest you just kind of sat around and did nothing. Now I did a little bit more than my co-workers. I usually would go to an actual guard post and log into the computer system and look at the cameras and watch the cameras. But yeah, it was just 2.5 hours of actual work, which was walking the buildings at least once, and then in the morning doing an exterior check, and then calling it a night. That would be if you were by yourself. If it was a full shift, so 3 people, you know, you got, or so 1 dispatcher and 2 guards, we would be able to, or you only have to do the one side. So you could get that done in like an hour. So then on those nights you would have an hour and a half of actual work. So I got a lot of papers done those nights, and I watched a lot of Netflix. Not gonna lie. especially when your supervisors actually told you that was okay. So. For us, now I was a little bit more thorough than a lot of the other guards. A lot of the other guards did check to make sure like all the office doors were locked. I did. So a lot of them got their stuff done really quick. But since I took my time and all that, I usually took a little bit longer. Hello. Yeah, the thing, but it's just funny because it's like the things, but that was like the stuff I liked about that shift. The things I didn't like about it was just the fact that it was a midnight shift. So like, while I was sleeping, everyone else is awake. So it's like I can't really hang out with my family and stuff like that because they all work day shift or just up during the day, and then. And then, you know, I'm up all night, and so I mean, that was like the downsides to working it, but at the same time, I liked it. I got extra pay. I got to hang out, and just pretty much do nothing and get paid. But the one thing I just didn't like towards the end, before I got laid off, is that the way that they were doing is that to try and cut down on how many hours people were working, because they pretty much went the minimum staffing there towards the end, and so if you didn't have to work every single day that you would normally work. You would only work certain days, and then you would have off. You would have admin leave the rest, and so you got paid to sit at home. But the way that they work things out is that, you know, they were essentially telling people, oh, you didn't have to work, but then they ended up making it so you were pretty much on call basis, even though they told you we weren't working. It was weird. And so the way I probably would have worked it differently, where like you would have been excuse me, or certain nights you would be on call basis, but other days you wouldn't be, essentially. But I don't know, it is what it is. But I'm definitely liking my new job, though. Day work, short commute, making more than I did at the other place, so I'm not going to be paying as much as in gas and stuff. Although I might stop and get gas on the way home. It's not exactly where I usually fill up, but it's getting there. I don't know. We'll see. Is clear. Also, I completely agree with that. Sorry, Phil, I just read your actual comment. But yeah, that was pretty much me towards the end. So that's towards the end, especially because I knew I was being laid off and that my contract was being renewed. I kind of was just doing the bare minimum because I was just like, because at that point I was just like, what does it matter? You know, next week I was being laid off, so it was just like, oh well, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. And even me slacking off really wasn't like slacking off probably to some people. But it was definitely a good first job though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not gonna say it gave me a lot of experience because it really didn't. But it was still a good first job. Even though it wasn't like my first job, but it was my first full-time job, I guess is how I should say it. Because my first job was actually working at a convenience store. I was 16, I got a job being a cashier. I always laugh because, you know, at 16 I'm allowed to sell cigarettes, but I can't purchase them myself. And it's not like I'm a smoker or anything. I've never used a tobacco product at all. One, it just doesn't appeal to me, and two, I just don't care for it. But you know, I always laughed. I could sell that stuff, but I couldn't buy it myself. But I love that job. I got a lot of hours there. My boss was awesome. I got 20 hours a week. No, yeah. Yeah, let me do math. Yeah, 20 hours a week. I did two weekday shifts of working 4 to 10. And then I did one weekend shift where I did 2 to 10. And what was awesome was that my manager would, on the days that like if it snowed or schools closed early or something like that, she would let me come in early on the weekday if I could. So I was able to get extra hours then. And I got paid above minimum wage. So, you know, being in high school, still getting paid higher than minimum wage, and I got vacation time, sick time, all that for a first job was like insane. That's what happens when you actually get or work for a company that actually cares about people. And then that company sold off their all the stores to other people, and things went downhill big time. I used to go, like, before they sold off the stores and stuff, I used to go into the store I used to work at all the time to say hi to people and like to say hi to my old boss and stuff. But ever since it was sold by the original owner, the new owners, they just don't care for it as well as the previous ones did, and it's just gone downhill. Is the best way to put it. So I really don't go there anymore unless if I need to. Nice. And then my second job was at Burger King. Worst 6 months of my life. Hands down. And the thing is like the job itself wasn't bad. It was just the people I worked with. There's someone that's actually using the turn lane to turn left. I mean, granted, you can't really see the turn lane because it's so hardly faded and all that other good stuff. Oh my god. Don't have to come to like almost a complete stop to turn. Actually, it's easier on your suspension when you hit it at speed instead of just... Okay, maybe not that one. That actually was pretty sketchy, the way that it just sank. That was pretty sketchy, actually. But yeah, my as I was saying, my second job that I ever had was at Burger King. And like I said, the job itself really wasn't bad. I really had no issues with it. But the people I worked with were just... Everyone from the manager down were just disgruntled, I guess is the best way to put it. And so it just made the whole environment just horrible. It's like only a few people actually liked the job there, and those people were treated nicely too. So that's probably why they liked it, but everyone else was disgruntled and just it was... And like the thing is, like, just because of like my work ethic, I guess, when I put in my 2 weeks notice there, because the manager, like, she just wasn't getting the hint. Like, I did everything she told me to do regarding schedule, and she just wasn't, like, she kept screwing up my schedule, and instead of her fixing her mistake, she would make me have to find coverage for the shift that she scheduled me for, even though I told her in advance I couldn't work it. And so I just was like, I'm done. I don't need this. And put my 2 weeks in. And the assistant manager I gave my 2 week notice to, she was actually sad to see me go, because she was just like, you actually do your job. I don't complain about it. And it's like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a fabulous, like, great job in the world, because I was doing the trash, you know, which, if you've ever worked at a fast food joint, that stuff stinks. But, you know, so I did trash, I did the cash register, I did dishes, I pretty much did all that stuff. And I never complained about it, because they were paying me to do a job and I was there to do it. And that's the way I looked at it. And I always did the first time they asked. I didn't, you know, they didn't have to ask me like 6 times for me to do one thing. It would be, hey, I need you to do this. And I would go, okay, and I would go and get it done. So, oh, sure. Oh no, that's security. Security. But yeah, so that place was a mess. My third job, which I had during the time I was working like that Burger King, it was a full-time temp job at the state courthouse in Westminster, and that was a decent job. The only complaint I have is that they didn't like train me on as much stuff as they did the other girl. The other girl that was working with me, that was the same temp job as me. So some days I would just kind of be sitting there because I didn't have anything to do, because for whatever reason they just didn't train me in that other stuff. But Nice last second decision, bro. But other than that, the people that I worked with were nice and had no issues there. And then my fifth job, which is the one I also held the longest, was at the library I used to work at. I worked there for 5 years. I started in fall of 2015, and I left in... So 4.5 years. I worked there 4.5 years. And I was actually promoted to student assistant manager. Yeah, I was actually promoted to student assistant manager. I helped with training. I helped them create the student handbook, or not, like the student employee handbook. Oh, I see the popo ahead. But so I got to do a lot of stuff there. They trained me how to fix the printers, how to do a lot of like basic IT stuff, which was cool. And the best part is that I was able to work on a lot of my schoolwork. Ooh, it's a Crown Victoria. Look at that. Must be a crash. But yeah, I really enjoyed that job. It was, don't get me wrong, I wish I had more hours there, but it was definitely a good job, and I really enjoyed it. The people there were awesome. The only complaints I had was that, so I worked at, well, I don't work there anymore, so I don't care. I worked at the University of Baltimore Library. The only complaint I had is that we were open to the general public, so anyone off the street could come in. Now, 99% of the time, people that were not UB affiliated didn't cause issues, but that 1%, it's like that 1%, not even a percent, it's like probably like half a percent, but it's like that 0.5% of the people that did come in that caused problems. That it was just like, can we just not let them in, period? We had everything from people pleasing themselves in the library to a whole bunch of other stuff, and yeah. One day, heck, because my dad doesn't work there anymore either. My dad was the police, worked at the agency or police department there, and they the one day he came in, they had to tackle someone, so that was fun. I missed it. I was really sad I missed it, actually, but yeah. So friend just called me on Facebook about you. He wants to play Call of Duty, but I am not home right now. And I'm also doing a live stream, so yeah. I can't answer the phone. Stop. But yeah, I really enjoyed that job. That was a fun job. And then the job after that, I transferred over to the full-time position as the security guard. And I did that for the 6 months. I planned on being there longer than that, but ended up only being 6 months because I got laid off. But it is what it is. In all honesty, it was probably a blessing in disguise because, I mean, heck, I got this job now. It pays better. It's better hours, in my opinion. So, can't complain too much. We actually had a guy, I don't know if he shot up before he walked in or if he did it while he was in the library, but we had a guy actually shoot up in my library, well, not shoot up, but he was definitely high on some sort of opiate because he went out like a light. He did not OD, but he was definitely out. Actually, when I am thinking about it, I did have this one guy. He was super paranoid. You'll guys love this story. This is another one from the library. You'll love this one. So this guy, he was super paranoid. Don't know why, but he just was. He probably had some sort of mental illness. I don't know. So the one thing that we had to do at the library is that we had to do hourly building counts, simply for statistical purposes, just to show that, hey, we had X amount of people use the computers, X amount of people use the study rooms, X amount of people, fill in the blank, whatever. So every hour we would just go and do the building counts. That was it. Well, this dude, not affiliated with the school in any way, shape, or form, no idea who he was, he would come in and he would see us doing these building counts, and because of him being super paranoid, he automatically assumed we were trying to watch him and like we were trying to get him and stuff like that. And like the one day he confronted me when I was doing my building count, and he's just like, "Are you trying to play some sort of game with me? You're following me around this place." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, I don't even know who you are. The guy saw me going to class the one day and saw me walk into the one building and go to class. And apparently I was following him. And so, like, we started documenting this crap, like, after that, like, I immediately told my supervisor that as soon as So at that point, we sent an email to the dean of the library. We started really documenting everything. Like, we actually created a Word document and everything just to like document if something happened. And later in the week, this dude, I'm working the evening shift. It's just me and the evening shift supervisor at that point. As this guy walks out and leaves, the evening shift supervisor, because both me and her are just chilling at the front desk at that point because there's nothing else for us to do, she goes, "Have a good night." He went off. And when I say off, I mean he went off. He was just like, "Why are you guys always fucking talking to me? You're watching me," all this other stuff. And he just freaked out. The supervisor, she's like born and raised from the city. She had nothing to do with it. She was just like, leave, get out. I'm just standing in the background like, oh shit, something's about to go down. The library was in the Learning Commons building on the 3rd floor, so he just stood down that main hallway. A lady comes walking into the library. Me and my supervisor kind of just ignored her. I mean, like, we didn't greet her. When I say ignore her, we just didn't greet her. Because we're still trying to process what just happened. Why did this guy just go off like that? And he comes running back in. It's just like, see, you didn't talk to her. You only talked to me. And then turned left and actually left that point. Well, just by sheer coincidence, one of the security guards for the campus happened to walk in, and apparently that scared him off because we did not see him again for like months after that. And we told the security guard when he came in, was just like, yeah, you just missed that guy. And he's like, I saw him leaving. He was staring me down. And all that other stuff. And then the same guy a few months later came back, and he actually came into the building, so something weird happened with like the doors unlocked when they shouldn't have. The building should have been on card access only, and they weren't. So the guy got into the building, went to the 2nd floor, because the library was closed, so he was hanging out on the 2nd floor. When the security guard was doing the rounds, saw him, reported it, and my dad and another officer actually responded out to it, and the guy turned to my dad and was just like, you're always coming to the library and watching me. And then turned to the other officer and was just like, you were following me the other day in the other building. And the guy's like, who are you? So after that, the guy never came back, and they actually trespassed him at that point. He never came back afterwards. But yeah, that was probably the most exciting thing that ever happened when I was working. I missed that job. Part of me actually kind of wishes I like went full time there. 'Cause I don't know, I was good at it. I don't know. It was a good. I don't know. I also liked it because we had a lot of freedom there. And when I say that, I mean like our supervisors wouldn't like watch us like a hawk. It was very like they would correct us when we needed to, or when they needed to, but they weren't like stalking you, waiting for you to screw up something. And if you did screw up something, they would help you out and fix it and all that other good stuff. Hello, Camper Mike. Yeah, actually, you're kind of tuning in towards the end. I'm pulling back into town, but it'll still go for a couple more minutes. I'm going to stop and get gas at the one local gas station. It was funny, I actually applied for a position like that not that long ago, Phil. I applied to it at Towson University, and I just never heard anything back from them. I was actually kind of surprised about that. They probably, in all honesty, they probably were like, he's too qualified. He's like overqualified, and they probably just threw my application out because they probably figured I wouldn't stay there for that long. Which, in the grand scheme of things, I probably would have, but to Hampstead. That sucks. I was finding my dad when he was at UB actually, originally the security guards at UB were actually in charge of issuing parking tickets, but then they actually switched it over to the sworn police. I don't know why. Because you don't need to be sworn police to do that, obviously. Especially if it's a university parking ticket, because as long as it's, you know, on their property or whatever, the university can designate whoever the heck they feel like it to be ticket or issue those tickets, but whatever. But that was actually one of the funny things I did on campus the one day. So my dad, he parked out on the street, and so backstory, Baltimore City, they took out the parking meter on Maryland Avenue in the 1400 block for whatever the reason. And so no one was paying to park there because there was no meter. Well, then the city came around and started issuing people parking tickets for a meter that didn't exist, because that's something that Baltimore City would do. And so the one day my dad parked out there, and I typed up a fake parking ticket on the computer, printed it out, and like to make it obvious that it was fake, I put in like City of Baltimore. So I spelled it C-I-D-Y, Balmer. And I put down as the penalty, you had to buy your lunch, or you had to buy your son lunch. And I put it on the windshield of his pickup truck, and I called him up, and I'm like, Dad, they just issued you a parking ticket, you better get over here. So he comes over, he's all ticked off because he just got a ticket. And I'm standing there waiting for him to come over. He comes over, reaches up, grabs it, starts reading it, and just starts laughing. And he's like, "Well, I guess I got to pay, or I guess I got to pay the penalty." He took me over the subway. That was one of the shenanigans me and him used to do. All right, well, I'm going to end the stream here since I'm at the gas station. But I hope those that enjoyed the stream, or watched anyway, enjoyed, I should say. My English is not working today, so but yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed. Peace out and stay safe out there. Bye.